Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Good. We're online? All right. Good evening, everyone. We'll go ahead and start the meeting. This is the August 19th Planning Commission Workshop. We do have a quorum. There are two notes. Mr. Dyer is out, and Mr. Jackson is joining via teleconference. Clay, can you hear us? What's on the bottom? Okay. Oh, that's the train. Okay, okay. Well, we may have Mr. Jackson joining us remotely here shortly. Do we need to, we didn't need to dial in, Mr. Nichols? For Mr. Jackson, we didn't, he was going to do the. Perfect, perfect. Beautiful. Okay. Well, we do still have a quorum regardless of the two members that are remote. Microphone reminder tonight, because we are recording, please turn on your mics and turn them off when you're not speaking. We do need to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, seeing none. General public comment, we got a packed house tonight. No one online either. Public comment going once, going twice. Anyone up here that would like to make public comment? All right. We'll go ahead and jump into new business. We do need to adopt the minutes that are attached to the email that Mr. Nichols sent out earlier and the packet.
Mr. Chairman, I have just a kind of a procedural note. In the very last page, where it's talking about the joint meeting cancellation, it refers to a straw poll. And since that was a procedural vote, that's a legitimate actual vote by the Planning Commission.
All right, so we'll need to make the change that if it was not a straw poll, it was actually a procedural vote. That's correct. Good night, Steve.
Move to adopt the minutes from July 22nd, 2026 with the proposed amendment on the official vote versus the straw poll.
Second.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to approve or adopt the minutes from the July 22nd meeting with the additional amendment of the procedural vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, seeing none. All right, so we have three workshop cases to go over tonight. I'm going to jinx this, as I think this will be pretty quick on a couple of these discussions, and one probably good one on ADUs. First case for tonight is case number ZOA-05-26-01. This is the signed ordinance amendment. This is our fourth workshop. The Board of Supervisors has directed the Planning Commission to consider amendments to the Madison County Code of Ordinances, Appendix 1, Article 12. Mr. Nichols, do you want to give us any more background, and then, or Mr. Wright, probably straight to you, since I think you do have the prepared language for us to propose tonight and/or kick it to the supervisors?
Right, and this are corrections based on the feedback from the last time we talked about that. That included things from the Planning Commission members, also from Mr. Snyder. And this document that Mr. Nichols has got up can sort of run through it. No real change to the previous suggested changes to the definition of temporary sign. And then coming down to 12.6.15, is essentially takes out this part about the elections and before and after, and just simply makes it a blanket prohibition on temporary signs on county-owned property, which again is not very much at all, if any, when it comes to Election Day. And so then we've got Sorry. Oh, is that it?
That's the one.
Uh,
Got 3 revisions.
And then the last sentence on there is allowing government speech. So this would be basically county signs, things you would advertise going across Main Street, or, you know, some of the other examples we used, Domestic Violence Awareness Week, a month, you know, things like that would be allowable without people coming in saying you're in violation of your own ordinance.
And Mr. Wright, just to kind of summarize for all the members to consider right now, this would be more or less a temporary or a Band-Aid to get us through the election cycle, and then this body, per direction of the Board of Supervisors, can decide if we want to go deeper and do a full revision of all sign ordinances in the county post-election. Is that safe to?
Yeah, I think Band-Aid is the right
Okay.
analogy for this. And Mr. Nichols actually went back and, I think he found a 1974 Madison sign ordinance, and it was, it's barely changed. It's verbatim, pretty much the same as it has been since, in those 50 years. So
Okay.
an overhaul might be well worth it.
All right, so then discussion tonight, looking at the bullet points, or no, the amendments or the edits.
Mr.
to-
Chairman, this is page 24 in your PDF, if that's easier to
look
read
from
in front of
behind.
you.
Oh, well, okay. You saying I have old eyes? So, looking at this, the 3 edits in the, 12-1-2, Dodge 16, 12-6-14, then 12-6-15, that's what we're discussing tonight to send as a package to the Board of Supervisors for consideration, I guess, and approval ahead of the election. So discussion tonight would be straw poll, I guess, safe to say, just let's stick to this, and then if we want to dive deeper into the sign amendment per direction of the Board of Supervisors, we can do that post-election. Is everyone in agreement with that, at least first? For the okay. Mr. Smith? No? Okay. You want to dive in deep now and get it over before the, is that your take, I'm guessing? Yeah, okay. And you have, no, so you're on board with the Band-Aid method?
Well,
Yeah, we'll have to say, well, I mean, technically, I guess, it's
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 permanent.
official, permanent, but it's
Permanent
potentially
until
be
otherwise
changed.
amended.
Okay, yeah, so,
I do have a minor question here. I see we still are sticking with the 6 square feet per side. And I think now that we have our no temporary signs on county-owned property, this is now applying to any kind of temporary sign on private property. And are we still comfortable with limiting that to the 2x3?
I think, I thought about the same thing, Mr. Carpenter. Maybe you could add 6 feet square in area per side, not have more than 2 sides for display unless otherwise permitted by this ordinance, and just to make sure you're not stepping on your own toes.
Okay, to leave us an out there. Okay.
so any addition, do we want to add language, or,
I can take care of that.
okay. So just a grammatical on that, though, nothing on the actual square footage?
Just make an allowance for if there's something else in the ordinance that says you can be bigger.
Okay.
So it's not self-contradictory.
Pete, good on that? Okay. And actually, so a question, Hannah, because I saw this one after we met the other day, the little, I don't know, the store that's next to Gino's that sells, I forget the name of it, but it sells the flowers and stuff. She has like melons and then cucumbers, and so she will have to come in for a permit potentially for that, just so,
Well, what I'd rather not unpack right now, but am happy to unpack during a rewrite of the sign ordinance, is that all these signs are supposed to require
okay.
permits. Minimum fee for a zoning permit's $75 or something like that, 50, 75, whatever. So all those things are supposed to be permitted all over the county. But as we discussed previously, it seems silly. So I think that this is something that we probably need to address in a rewrite. What requires simple compliance and what requires a permit, which is probably something large or illuminated.
Perfect.
Yeah, and the,
Or a
very
large
often,
permanent
we
structure,
find
yeah.
that those signs are on, basically on VDOT right-of-way. And I think, unless I'm mistaken, VDOT has regulations concerning signs on their right-of-way.
Oh, yeah, but say they can pull any of those things that they want.
Yeah, but that's not county responsibility. VDOT has that set of regulations.
Or both in some
Yeah.
cases where we
We
could
we
use.
can unpack the nuances of
Yeah.
that. I haven't
Yeah.
looked into it. I don't know if I would have authority to remove a sign that's
Right.
on the VDOT right away. I probably would.
Okay.
Mr. Carpenter,
We can
being
look
as you
at that.
bring that up, there's 3 new signs that went up in the last week, and they all in the right of way. Big signs, 4-bay sheets of plywood. That requires a permit.
The county, well, yeah, I guess VDOT approval, yeah, I was gonna say this, they should probably tear it down. Okay. Well, like I said, I think I was gonna ask that question, is to expose why there needs to be further discussion down the road, and probably why Mr. Smith wants to get it done
I'm
sooner
sure I'll
rather than
receive the
later.
complaint in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So business at hand then, the 3 additions or the amendments to the language in front of us on page 24. Any final changes to that? And then if not, do we want to take a vote and then send this to the board with the edits as is?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we send this to the board with the edits as is.
We don't vote this meeting.
This is workshop. Ah, sorry. I'm with you, Pete. I'm ready.
That can start.
We're ready to get this stuff done.
Second the straw poll.
He was checking the straw poll. Yeah, all right. And we have nod from behind us too,
At
which
least they
makes,
know it's coming.
which makes me feel better, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have any public comment on this one? What, this is the workshop that wants to get things done. We don't even want to just talk about it. We want to vote. All right, then, it sounds like we have a pretty good direction on that. So, Mr. Wright, you'll make the one edit, and then we'll move it to the actual place where we'll vote down the road. All right, any further discussion on this or public comment? Stacy, you want to say anything? Okay. All right, moving on to the second case of the night, case number ZOA-07-26-01, the accessory dwelling unit ordinance, and this is our second workshop for this one. At the April 28th, 2026 meeting of the Board of Supervisors, staff was directed to prepare language for an ADU ordinance in response to the State Bill 531 and review that language with the work group. The proposed ordinance is ready for review by the Planning Commission. And Alan, I'll let you unpack kind of everything you've been working on with this one. And again, hopefully you all did our homework from the last meeting. We talked about, really the big discussion point was is if we're going to voluntarily expand this as a county into A1 and C1, just because the law, the language in the bill says restricted for R1. So get ready. There is debate on if it does or not. Mr. Nichols.
So you summed it up pretty well. This is presented in the same way as it was in the previous workshop, with the primary discussion revolving around whether or not, as a part of developing this ordinance, you wanted to extend these provisions for accessory dwelling units into the conservation and agricultural districts. And so you certainly may frame your discussion any way you'd like, Mr. Chairman, but it is my suggestion that you start at that point, since that's where we left off last time, and then we could run through the other optional provisions if you choose. We didn't seem to have any pushback on that last time, but I think I would start with, we have to do it in the residential zoning district. Do you want to do it in conservation and/or agricultural?
Thank you, Ms. Nick. And I guess, and y'all chime in here, if this is a good approach to it. Maybe we go through and do a list of pros and then a list of cons, and we can kind of hear everybody's, what 4 weeks we've had or 2 weeks we've had to discuss on this.
Mr. Chair,
Please, Ms. Smith.
before we start, I attended the 2026 Land Use Legal Seminar that VCU puts on. It was August the 7th. And during one of the breaks, it's mostly Board of Supes, planning commissioners, attorneys, people with interest in that. A pretty good conference all in. But I did ask during one of the breaks, a number of the cohorts there, if they saw in the engrossed bill any prohibition about moving toward ag or allowing this in ag or conservation zones. And it's mentioned, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 times residential zoning or something to that order. And to the person, they agreed with us here that they didn't see any prohibition to doing it. They wondered why in the bloody blue blazes you'd want to, but so that was pretty much it. And in somewhat agreement with them, I see that there is a remedy for folks in ag and conservation zoning to rezone the R, and then they can do it by right.
Good points, Mr. Smith. And I guess, I mean, we could speculate too, but, I mean, the law could change down the road where they make it a requirement in A1 and C1. I think we all could probably agree that this is done for more urban areas, the intent from this bill, but it kind of just forgets small town, but, yeah, who knows what could be down the road. Listening to Mr. Smith's comments, any follow-up on, again, should it be prohibited, or do we want to encourage it from our recommendation as the commission?
Chairman, if I may, I'll basically just say close to the same thing I said last time we met on this. I mean, I look at it as a, reduction in land requirements, an increase in density. I don't think if we were to, for one, I don't see any reason why to jump in head first when we can just step our toes into it by complying with the state requirements. I could see it more in C1 than A1, because then you'd be theoretically a minimum of 5 acres per dwelling as opposed to 1.5 acres. But at the same time, looking at the comprehensive plan, I don't think there's any need for expanding it into A1 or C1.
Thank you, Ms. Cowan. Any other comments? Pete, anything on this one? Indifferent, or what's your, don't want to touch it? I'm putting you on the hot seat here. Oh, okay. So you're more in pro houses versus ADUs, is that what you're getting at?
No, yeah, I'm okay with ADU.
You are, okay. So you'd probably be in favor then of it being open to all of it? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I do agree with Jim that there are alternate pathways, and I also agree with Nathan that let's not move forward with this too far, but do what we have to do and then see where we stand after that.
Anything?
No, I'm just watching the room.
I'm
Mr.
honestly, go ahead.
Would you indulge me to ask a question?
Please, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Nichols.
Mr. Elliott, knowing your connection to Lost Valley, does Lost Valley permit more than one dwelling on a parcel? Is it expressly prohibited in the covenants?
Absolutely need a dedication.
Thank you.
And I guess that point was to make us know that there are restrictions, even if it is in A1 or D1, or.
No, it's that you've got a whole bunch of small lots in conservation.
Yeah.
And so if it's conservation because presumably they're 10 acres versus, 3 in agriculture, there's an awful lot of non-conforming lots that are smaller than most of the A1 parcels up in the mountains. And so, based on Mr. Cowan's comments, I was just thinking through consequences.
What they will allow you to do, if you can't get a perk site, you can put 2 lots together to get a home site with the septic on one, the well on the, and the house on the other.
That makes sense.
And since I've been asking, I'm honestly indifferent, because I'm with Pete, as like if we can have multiple houses that are, because in real case scenarios, it's probably going to be family. And I know we talked about at the agenda meeting that, it could be brothers and sisters sharing a lot, that it might be a little bit more financially easier for them to go an ADU route. So I see that benefit, but I also see the slippery slope and especially with short-term rentals and enforcement, should this really get out of control and you have people building ADUs just to have, supplemental income coming in, versus going the appropriate route. I'm all for that, as we all know, but versus going the formal route with the planning office.
Mr. Chairman, do you know if Malvern has prohibitions against 2 houses per lot? Because it's all zoned A.
Resident?
I think the covenants won't allow you to do that even in Malvern.
It does have covenants.
I know it's got covenants, pretty strict.
Do you know?
Yeah, I think that's correct. That is one dwelling.
So it does sound like that some of the private practices or HOAs or other legal areas may restrict preventing what we are fearful of happening anyway.
Yeah, and another thing I think we need to be careful about, we are making some assumptions here about what these would be used for and who would be doing it. And if we look historically at what's going on in, well, let's say California, which is where some of this started, that's not what's happening. They're ending up being rental properties for profit.
Well, I read one article, yeah, it was, I think, I can't remember which county it was in California, but it's supposed to be a blood relative, and then they were finding migrant workers living in these houses, so, which, I mean, could happen here too, but, okay. Then, that being our bigger discussion point on this, does anyone, before we kind of move this to either a straw poll or passing it to what we want to do next, any other points within the ADU discussion? I mean, this is just one little piece of it.
I've got some
Okay.
on this subject. So first off, I'll right up front, I'm very much in favor of putting it to A1 and C1. I mean, I started this way back in 2020 or whatever it was, because a young man came to me and wanted to move his grandmother from Mineral up here because she needed help, but he says, God bless her, I don't want her living in my house. I've got 5.75 acres. So he needed 6 to put another unit on there. So I ask you, what was the purpose of this bill? When the General Assembly did this, what was the purpose of this bill? Okay, the purpose, in my opinion, is to provide mother-in-law suites and provide a place for older generations, perhaps to stay in their home and have somebody living there as a caretaker or whatever. Okay, now I disagree wholeheartedly with what Jim said about having another avenue to do this, to rezone to R1. We're looking at property now that's supposed to be 12 acres. That we haven't had the application. I guess it went to the PDRC. Is that true?
Went to preliminary development. That will come to us in the next month or so.
Right. That'll come to us. 12 acres, and you look at it, and it's surrounded by A1, as is the whole county. I mean, when this thing started, everything was A1. Look at Crigglesville. It's all A1. It should be business and residential. Okay, so you've got stuff that's mislabeled all over the place. The 12 acres that we're talking about now is, I've heard already, that's going to be spot zone, and we don't want to do that. We probably won't do that. Well, I don't know whether that's what's going to happen, but as far as just being able to use another avenue, Jim, that's definitely not a viable option a lot of times. So the purpose of the bill, to expand ADU opportunities where single-family housing already exists. So the General Assembly did not say zones designated residential or districts classified as residential. Instead, they said single-family residential zoning districts. Single-family describes the principal permitted use, describes the nature of the occupancy, okay? Therefore, any district, in my opinion, where a single-family resident is permitted, is a permitted use, that's a single-family residential zoning district, okay? So that's what, right from the get-go, Alan and I clashed on this right from the get-go, the first day we read this thing, when I looked at B. and I said that then, I say it now. And now, I was looking at it today, look at E3. A restrictive covenant concerning an ADU on a lot or parcel zoned for residential use. Now they've changed their language down in the body of this thing. Now they're just talking about parcels that are zoned for residential use. So I don't think they knew when they did this. That's right. So, and here's another one. So Lot A is an R1 district, is zoned R1, and contains a single-family house. Lot B next door is in an agricultural district and contains an identical single-family house. That's me, my house. Well, I've got 1.75 acres. I'm ag. My neighbor is residential in Etland. God knows how that happened. Residential, he's got 3 acres. We both have single-family dwellings. And now, under the narrow interpretation, Lot A could get an ADU. I couldn't because I'm an ag. That's wrong. It's not the intent of this whole thing. So I think, in summary, SB 531 should be interpreted based on the permitted land use rather than a zoning district's title. Any zoning district in which a single-family detached dwelling is permitted principal use, is a permitted principal use, is a single-family residential zoning district within the meaning of 15.2-2292.3 because the statute focuses on residential use of the property, repeatedly references lots occupied by single-family dwellings, and contains no language limiting application to districts formerly labeled residential. Therefore, ADUs should be deemed a permitted accessory use anywhere that a single-family residence is lawfully permitted, including agricultural and conservation. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, so, and this is something Alan wrote a while back saying, Madison County is required to permit ADUs by right in all residential zoning districts where single-family dwellings are allowed. That's all of them. So what's the purpose of that statement if it wasn't meant really for expanding it to ag and conservation? And in practicality, this is not going to be an issue. It's just not going to be an issue. Practically speaking, it's not, in my most humble opinion. You know, people aren't going to go out there and spend, I don't know, what does it cost to build $300 a square foot now? I don't know what it is. Whatever. $325. Spend that kind of money unless they have a reason for it, and that's just not going to be, it's not going to be an issue. I guess that's all I got to say about that. For that issue.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Yao, thank you for all those comments. I'm going to disagree with you, except on the part that it's probably practically not going to be an issue.
Correct.
That's entirely possible. It's hard to say, but, and we can look at any verbiage on anything and glean lots of different things from it. In looking at our zoning ordinance, Article 4, Agricultural A1 Statement of Intent, this district is established for the purpose of accommodating all types of rural open land uses, such as agricultural and forestry, along with kindred rural occupations, blah, blah, blah. Everybody can read it on their own. You can read a C1 on your own. That's not the intent. It's not houses and farming. It's open rural land use. We could just cut it in half. This person's got 7 acres and they want 3 houses. You know, like, I mean, we can look at any case and make it not make sense for what our current ordinance is. But simple fact, I don't think there's any reason to expand it beyond state requirements.
But that's my issue, Nathan. Is I don't interpret that as saying it has to be zoned residential. That's the initial basis of my argument, on top of the fact that I figured that, you know, the use, but I don't read it that way.
Put it on residential, a lot of residential lots is 1 acre or less. I don't, time you put the drain field in, the well in the house, where you gonna put it, on top of the house?
Because it's still got to meet setbacks, right?
So in this case, your accessory dwelling unit has to meet the accessory structure setbacks, which probably merits a follow-up conversation after we figure out this bill. But yes, it has to meet, so in the residential districts, that's typically 10 feet off of all property lines. In agricultural, typically 50 front, 50 rear, 25 sides.
And I'll interject here if I may.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Accessory in agricultural and conservation, everything meets the front, which is typically 50, but then 10-foot sides and rear.
Is that what Hannah was speaking about on the last meeting? Because I've got a note here saying that you had said something about, yeah.
Mr. Nichols, and maybe Mr.
I just have a note here that you had said, A1C1 under review, ADUs should be behind setback line. I just wrote that down as something that you were saying.
I think that's separate issues, but I think that's both of the ones that we're talking about now. The one that Cardy and Allen have been discussing with the A1C1 application, and then also, what does this mean in terms of the setbacks? And do we need to revisit any of that? I think that's right.
So let's, since this is just a workshop and a discussion, Alan, what is our tool, and again, Mr. Wright, this may be more you, what's our toolbox as a planning commission to kind of work on this? We can take Mr. Yao, the chairman's approach, where this is going to be carte blanche on all the different zoning districts. What tools do we have to maybe put restrictions, if there are unanimous concerns on certain XYZ things that we can do to put those voluntarily to prohibit or prevent that from?
So certain conditions, there are 9 optional provisions that you have in the bill that you can decide to regulate. Those are listed. Setbacks is a concern that I have, especially in the R1 district, because where most of the county, everything meets the front setback, and then your sides and rear are lesser for accessory buildings. In the residential district, that's not the case. So you could have a residential lot with the home set, the primary home set towards the rear of the lot, or even in the center of the lot, and because you only have to be 10 feet from any property line, you could be set in the front, this accessory unit, which may not be how you choose to pursue development. So it may be worth a visit later to look at the setbacks for accessory uses and then adjust those, knowing that accessory dwelling units could be placed using those same standards.
Mr. Chair, could I ask staff a question,
Please.
or several? Do we have a definition for, we do have a definition for attached dwelling unit and a detached dwelling unit,
We do.
okay?
Currently, I'm not able to pull it up to reference it.
No, I'm just going through, because we've gone through a lot of these. Do we have a definition for a residential dwelling lot? I think we do not.
I do not think we do, and I think that we unpacked that when we first started looking at this, that
Yeah.
we did not have one to go along with it.
And do we have a residential zoning district defined?
We do.
And do we have a residential lot defined?
I do not think we do.
That's used 3 times in the ordinance, or in the bill.
We define our
And
residential.
use, I think we know what that is.
Yes, but
That's defined.
residential use is not defined other than the uses permitted in the 4 residential zoning districts.
Mr. Smith, I'm not pushing back to be a smart A, but is there going to be a question about like what a residential lot is?
That's the guidance that the statute gives us.
Okay.
I know they used that a bunch in there, didn't they, without defining it?
Yeah. Didn't define jack. That's typical.
And that opens it up to Chairman Yowell's interpretation very
What line is that?
I'm not going to challenge Cardy to debate here unless he wants it.
I have a question, and this is,
This,
I'm coming in a very, asking in a learning space here.
Okay?
So there is a piece of property that is 27 acres. And this is semi-hypothetical, and it's not my property. And it is zoned A1. And there was a primary dwelling unit, a home, a single-family home on it. And then there was a second home that was built maybe 10 years after. And that was used as an office and an apartment when this family had it. And that property is sold, and within the last 3 years, there's been another home put on it. And it's within the cleared yard space of that 27 acres. So within that site plan. Or I guess they included that third dwelling unit in that site plan. First off, was that acceptable with how our ordinances are written? Two, if it's an A1, does there need to be a very clear distinguished 1.5 acre lot that is drawn for each of those homes, if we're looking at maybe in the future and how we're applying this? If you have an A1 piece of property, can you choose to put a future accessory dwelling unit or another home anywhere on that 27 acres? I'll add one more element to this. If the property is primarily forest and you're looking at wanting to preserve the forest, is it against what you guys are, I know there's a lot of strong feelings here. Would you rather see that A1 have a very clear, distinguished 1.5 acre lot with where you're cutting down trees to put a home within that 27 acre A1 piece? Or are you fine with it using the already sort of cleared yard space being close to the original home? I know that was very rambly, but
That's okay, I'm going to take them one at a time.
perfect, thank you.
So I'm going to premise this with, we're going to take a hypothetical 27-acre parcel and not a specific one, because there may be other factors to that specific parcel. Generally speaking, in the agricultural district, you can put more than one parcel on a piece of land, or more than one dwelling on a parcel, pardon me. As long as you have 3 acres for each dwelling. There is no requirement that you subdivide in order to build another dwelling on a piece of land. So in this case, at 27 acres, they could put up to 9 dwellings on this piece of land if they chose to do so.
And those lines don't, it can just be any 3 acres. It doesn't have to be on its own 3 acres.
They don't have to plan for a future subdivision to meet hypothetical setbacks that do not exist.
That answers a lot of my questions.
And to sidebar onto this before I go to your next question, we encourage people, if they want to put multiple dwellings on a piece of property, to engage a surveyor to pin where it goes so that they have a avenue to subdivide later if they choose. There have been folks who've come into the office in an attempt to subdivide off multiple dwellings into different parcels, and there has not been an avenue to do so because they placed them too close together or arranged them in such a way that they could not meet the setbacks to make 2 new parcels. So that is a thing that happens, and those self-imposed conditions are usually not good candidates for variances either. So sometimes that means that those houses will go in seemingly perpetuity in those places on a single parcel. Your next question was about where they can go. As long as they meet the existing setbacks, we don't care on the property where they go. If somebody wants to clear a wooded area and do that, that's fine. They do have minimum separations to meet for building code issues, and if they want to place things closer, they usually can, but they may have fire rating for exterior walls to, extend evacuation time. But the zoning, we don't care where on the property they put it. Exceptions will include a 50-foot stream buffer, special permitting for floodplains. Believe it or not, you can build in a floodplain, but there are requirements to do so. And so, yeah, the overall question of density, it's in multiples of 3 in the agricultural district. As long as you have 3 acres for each dwelling you want to put on there, we don't care where you put them.
That's very helpful, and I know I have read this over and over in the ordinance, but having you say it out loud is very helpful. So truly, when it comes to the density, if we're looking at ADUs, it is really at the risk, if you're in A1, it's at the risk of the landowner in the future, if they ever want to subdivide. Because if that accessory dwelling unit kind of nullifies that opportunity for a third 3-acre separation that can kind of mess up any potential subdivision in the future. So it's really their risk, not.
It absolutely is, and it's very clear, both the way that we've written our ordinance and what we're enabled to do in this bill, that the fact that you put an ADU on a parcel does not give you another subdivision right.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
And if I will, to piggyback, I guess the only thing that this changes is there could now legally be, if this was an A1, 18 structures legally on 27 acres versus 9 structures.
That's not true, because in this case, you only get one ADU, and
per
we are
par-
not
as a
going to
parcel.
permit ADUs on parcels that already have more than one dwelling, which is something that we are
Yeah.
enabled to do.
Was that what you were alluding to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily a doubling of the density, because we already allow multiple dwellings on a parcel. Some localities only allow one dwelling on a parcel, so you have to subdivide to put another dwelling there. We're not like that.
So it's a single shot use with the ADU per parcel.
That's right, if you only have one dwelling on a parcel, and you can make it fit in the accessory setbacks, and you're in a residential district, the way it's written now, we'll see where we go, then yes, you can have one accessory dwelling unit.
And it is then, from now on, or from then on, it is part of the single-family dwelling unit. It cannot be separated and sold off. Is that right?
So the way that we have discussed this in practical terms, as we've had some hypotheticals that we've kind of worked through, I think that if somebody built a second dwelling on a property and they were able to meet the ordinary requirements for a subdivision, they had the right to subdivide, the structures met the setbacks, everything was correct for what an ordinary subdivision would be. The fact it was built as an ADU would not prohibit them from subdividing, because we allow multiples anyway. But if it did not meet those provisions that a home would ordinarily have to meet for setbacks and size and configuration and all those things, then no, it would not be permitted to be subdivided. And it should not be eligible for variances either, because it would be self-imposed.
So if this 27 acres was on the right of way, okay, and you get the right of way, and you get back to where the ADU was, and we already had 5 houses on that, or 6 houses on that right of way, that ADU wouldn't be able to split off at that time and become its own piece of parcel, correct?
You
So we
cannot
allow
have,
6?
we cannot serve more than 6 parcels by a private road, which I think is what you're alluding to here. We don't care how many houses are on that private road, but our ordinance does limit the number of parcels served.
Is that VDOT as well? County and VDOT aligned?
That is a county
That's
ordinance.
just county, okay. So VDOT would potentially have a chance to do a service
The only
study
thing
to-
VDOT's going to do is tell you what the entrances to the state-maintained road has to look like. So 2 homes keeps you in the realm of a private entrance with no changes. You go up to,
Let's see.
I think you can go up to 5 on a low-volume commercial, and if you get more than that, you end up needing a full commercial. I send all of the subdivisions to VDOT anyway, so I try not to overthink it.
Internet's down
Whatever they
here.
require is what we do.
Okay, Mr. Smith, were you done with your question? Okay. Any, no,
Mr. Chairman, sorry, I forgot to object to one of other Mr. Yao's comments. And I could be wrong about this one as well, but
Very
I
good.
don't think the General Assembly cares about grandma. I think it's about affordable housing. I don't think there's any, that's what.
Affordable housing, or not affordable housing necessarily, Nathan, but increasing the inventory of housing.
So if the ADU is on the house that I own for grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and I get ready to sell my house, and I don't wanna sell that ADU with it, can I do a boundary adjustment to create a lot?
You might have to rezone.
Boundary adjustment does not create a lot, but if you can lawfully execute a boundary adjustment without creating a non-conforming parcel, then sure, you can do that. But you cannot create a non-conforming parcel.
and then on residential, which means you'd have had to have 6 acres anyway, which you could have just gone subdivided into 2.
You
right?
just have to, whatever the requirements are of the zoning district we're talking about. So lot width, overall area, setbacks, the usual.
So if you
Takes a
build,
minute.
if you build an ADU 20 feet from a house, you're not gonna be able to subdivide that because you're not gonna meet any setbacks.
I don't know about 20 feet from the house.
I'm trying to think of these
I that
nightmare
you've got-
scenarios we're
it
trying to
depends on- It
envision.
depends on what end. You're,
Yeah, yeah, I
because your
guess,
front and
yeah.
rears are
Yeah.
tighter.
So that, and that kind of goes back to where we probably, not probably, we should look at the
It's going to be
Setbacks and then-
site-specific. You create the setbacks and the conditions you want, and when someone applies to do the thing, we'll evaluate that particular site if that's okay or not.
okay. And then for us to help the staff out would be updating language that prevents hopefully some sticky situations from y'all where a house is 10 feet from each other.
Don't think it's necessarily to help staff out in this case. I think it's what do you want your community to look like?
Well, you know,
I
people,
mean-
people are gonna do it anyway. But yeah, to
But I
help.
mean, like, are you okay with accessory units being placed in front of what today is the primary dwelling?
Yeah.
Was really my concern, the way that it was written and the way that our accessory building setbacks are today.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, I thought I was done, but when we were going through the comprehensive plan, we identified a lot of that. I think it was, what, a year and a half going through that? Pretty much most of the people in this room were involved in that. And basically, the consensus was keep the rural space rural, look at cluster housing, small community developments, stuff like that. I would just say everybody should read the updated comprehensive plan. I think the answer's right there.
What does the comp plan say about ADUs?
It does mention ADUs as a way to expand housing accessibility. I do know that.
Mr. Chairman, on an entirely different tangent here, a question again for staff, I think. In the state bill or in any of the things that we have, is there any regulation directed at the structure itself? Does it have to be stick-built? I know it has to meet building codes and so forth and so on, but other than that, can the type of building that you have, can something like that be put on a foundation, electrical, plumbing, everything's installed?
Well, what killed our building official's brain, and mine too, in this particular bill, was that we had the option of accessory dwelling units meeting the building code.
Yeah.
And I think that we 100% should, allow that to be there. Or, require that they meet the building code, or the language that we drafted includes the standards for manufactured and modular housing. So in other words, if you could build it anywhere in the county, you can build it as an ADU, but it's going to have the recognized standard. We would treat an ADU the same as we would treat any other dwelling.
In terms of the cost,
There's no prohibition on somebody buying the $50,000 base model Clayton home, one bedroom, one bath trailer and putting it out there.
What about a
Manufactured
mobile
home. A manufactured home is acceptable.
Not an RV, though.
An RV is not, the way that we've drafted this.
Okay,
fact, one-
then.
All right, one more
Yeah.
thing. One more
Here you
thing
go,
on
Nathan.
ADUs. Goal 2.1, consider adopting a flexible policy ordinance that allows for the use of accessory dwelling units as a means of providing multi-generational housing, enabling seniors and young people to live near family and additional income for homeowners. That's,
Chairman Yao may have just put the nail in the coffin on this discussion, guys.
Probably put that line.
No consequentity.
I did, I
consequentity.
did.
Yeah, requiring consequentity is prohibited.
What's that?
No familial relationships. We can't require any of that.
That's right.
Consequentity.
That's right. We can't, but the whole point is, I mean, how many times we sit here and we talk about how the population in this county is 65 and older, is going like this. And where do most of these people live? Are they living in residential, I mean, R1 neighborhoods, you know? I mean, a lot of them are, a lot of them aren't. You know, I mean, we're a farming community, and I thought I was gonna say that was all I had to say about that.
Okay, then going through for tonight's discussion on this one, the bill, are there any other point, it sounds like, I mean, all of our discussion's still on the A1, C1, but are there any other points that we wanted to discuss as the body? No. Table for then for the next discussion, where do we think we're at? I mean, it sounds like we probably still have some debate, but I think Mr. Yao has.
Have you made any decisions?
Have decisions been, Pete, you're still on allowing
I
it?
guess we gotta do at least enough to meet the state requirements, right?
Yeah.
The
Well,
bare minimum?
that's a given, yeah, the Rs. But, yeah, so if we, as a body, then
So
decide,
if we say we don't want the R, kick it out.
no, we
We have to have the R.
you have to have the R, yeah. So just include it all?
And there's some debate over whether or not we have to have the A and C. That-
You
Yeah.
put ADUs in R3 zone, right? That makes no sense, Pete, does it? Up here, damn bit of sense.
Yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with putting it in A and C, not at all. If you
Mr.
put it in
Chairman.
R, because you're gonna have a lot more room in A and C than you are in R.
I definitely appreciate the discussion, and it's helpful and spirited. You do have time, if you want to take time, you've got until July of '27 to adopt
The-
an
all the
ordinance.
language, okay.
So not to kick anything down the
Yeah.
road, our workload will increase.
Okay.
But if you needed time, you have it.
Well, straw poll then, I mean, again, we've heard Chairman Yao's comments, and they've swayed me some to go ahead and expand this, and I'm going to say this word, because I say it a lot on the other way, in terms of fairness, because although it may be hypothetical, if you're a 1.7 acre, or living next to a 3 acre, and one can do it and the other can't, it's not fair. It isn't. Do we want to do a vote or table the discussion for tonight, and then knowing that at least we probably need to work with, or I guess we can ask you, Mr. Nichols, to see what we need to update on the setbacks, or start going through the,
I mean, you can do these things together if you choose. It's just order of operations. You all may certainly decide any order you want to take these things on.
It's gonna be easier to go
down the line, workshop? Okay.
of those 9 options.
Okay.
We have a combined.
All right, then, table discussion for tonight, and then next workshop, we'll come up with a couple of different strategic points. Alan, would that work?
Sorry, I'm getting pulled from two sides.
You're
Yes,
good. Let the lawyer
my
talk.
fault.
No,
I-
Right, if you have. Yeah, and then with that one, we'll go through some of,
So the only thing I would suggest, if you're asking my opinion,
I am.
on, let's say, going forward, is that you all take a minute, read what we are permitted to regulate. They're all cited in the ordinance that's proposed, the option that we felt was best suited for our county. And so when we come back to the next workshop, be prepared that if you want to see something different on one of those 9 items, be prepared to debate it. So that way we can make a decision and move to a public hearing. I would say that the following, I would say probably, we have to do the ADU thing one way or the other. We don't necessarily have to adjust setbacks right away. I don't think anyone's clamoring
Okay.
to do this in R1. I know a few people who would love to do this in A1, but I don't know of anybody in R1 at the moment who's asking. But the only thing I really had to say about the setbacks is that in other districts, everything meets the front. It would be a minor change that I would propose in the residential district, that all structures, accessory or primary, meet the front.
Okay. And there would be no like ripple or domino effect for changing, for like sheds and other thing? I mean, we're not gonna like upend people that are coming with pitchforks to you if we change some things because of ADUs in mind versus sheds and wood sheds and roofing stuff.
I mean, you're working with what you got. What
Yeah.
the General Assembly's given us to work with, you make the best decision you can. There's no right or wrong, it's just trade-offs.
Agreed.
I have,
Mr. Chairman, if I may just make one little comment. So if anybody cares, I do side with the same side that Cardy is. I agree with everything that he is saying. I hear what Steve and Nathan are saying, but I don't think it's gonna, personally, think it's gonna be that big of an issue, and I am siding with what Cardy thinks. Just to let you know what maybe another board member might be thinking.
Thanks, Supervisor Steiner.
Mr. Chairman, you can also, if people thought this was ready and you didn't want to do another workshop, you could move forward and you could also have the recommendation of, not going into effect until sometime between
Okay.
now and July 1 while you work on the setback thing. If you wanted to split those things up, if you want to keep it together and table it, that's fine too. Just letting you know that that is an option also.
Okay.
Not to I wanted to complicate your thought process, so you're welcome.
Certainly, if you feel good about it, there's no reason why you
Yeah,
couldn't.
Yeah.
Zach, I don't
While
want
we-
to prolong
while
this
we've got
thing.
Mr. Wright under
Yeah.
the spotlight here,
I
is
think
there any
another
way that we
workshop
can
probably
have
to go through
rule is the right
to
word.
hit every one
Can
of
we
those
have a
things.
definitive statement whether
Yeah.
Alan's interpretation or Cardy's interpretation is the correct way to see what the state is saying about residential?
Sure, so,
It may be a moot point, is what I'm saying.
yeah, I would, okay, so
It's neither here nor
if you're asking my opinion on this in terms of the text of the statute and what is saying, and I try not to go into the world of intent of what the legislatures do, but what the actual words are, and then trying to give them, the first step is just give a statute its plain and ordinary meaning as it reads. And then part of that is what did they decide to use and what did they not decide to use? And can you go to the
Yes, sir.
statute on there,
Where do you want me to be?
to the newly enacted 15.2? Yeah. So, in B,
Yes.
it says zoning ordinances for single-family residential zoning districts. And so, did they say zoning districts that allow single-family? They didn't, right? They said residential, single-family residential zoning districts. I take that to mean R1, not any place that also allows single-family. Do I have a monopoly on reading? Absolutely not. Is anybody gonna tell us what the right answer is on this? Not unless we go in through full litigation and a judge has to call balls and strikes on it. I mean, there's no sort of advisory opinion that we can go to. It's us, right? I mean, I can ask around to other county attorneys and see if they've got a different take on it, and I'm happy to do that poll.
Just for laughs.
For
Are they
laughs.
going through the same thing right now?
I'm not aware of, they will at some point if they haven't already started. So for some
I
of
mean,
them,
they're required to at some point.
that's right,
July 1st of 27.
yep. So, but I'm happy to ask that question.
But it's neither here nor there in a lot of ways. I mean, it'd be interesting to know what other people think, but it's, you know, what we decide, so it's neither here nor there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's gonna be right and somebody's gonna be wrong. But I agree that their opinion is just another opinion, doesn't mean it carries any more weight than.
But I mean, as far as if we decide to put it in A1 and C1, then it's, you know, it's whatever, it is what it is.
I have 2 points. My first being that I think if we can address and vote on the setback issues, the more easier ones to tackle, and then build consensus with maybe one more workshop, I think that would be really helpful. I also think that if we do it in incremental a phased approach, it also gives the public a greater opportunity to hear what is coming and what could impact their own land. And then we can, Alan, you can put your signs up and we can post things in Chuck's paper and hopefully have a little bit of a communication plan that can address some of these concerns that may affect people in real life. And I think that's something that we should do in earnest. But I'm also with Chairman Yao that kicking it down the road just means we're procrastinating on decisions, and who knows what's ahead of us in terms of our workload. But I'm here for it.
Thanks, Ms. Gore. All right, then I would propose one more workshop on this. I guess homework would be we go through the proposed bill line by line, and then our next workshop, we go through line by line, have final comments, and I'll say the word final on each line. And then again, per Mr., I don't want to say Mr. Yell's, Chairman Yell's direction, but going toward the direction of A1, C1 inclusion, have final talking points on that. Mr. Nichols, I guess, may we ask of you to provide the setbacks so everyone has, or at least point us to the direction where to find those so we can study?
I'm happy to prepare, if you would like, an
Little
email
packet.
for you to frame your discussion.
Beautiful, thank you, yes.
So if
yes.
you would like that.
One other thought too is, depending on the answer to the A1, C1 question, may necessitate the definitions that Mr. Smith's talking
Okay.
about too.
Okay. And I guess regardless of that, probably defining Mr. Smith's, putting that in our definition packet would probably be worthwhile. Just so we have it, okay.
What is 22-5?
Okay. Pete, how do you feel about that? Good? Ann, you okay with that?
I know why you asked it, yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may ask for clarity, is your intent to make a recommendation in a public hearing at the October workshop? Or, not, I'm sorry, at the October joint meeting? So September workshop is your final, in which case you will adopt this new article
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
October joint meeting?
I was honestly thinking we were in September right now, so, sorry, maybe I should be chairman.
All right, if that's your
Yes,
intent, that's
correct,
what I will
yes.
do.
September workshop, October public hearing.
Okay.
Mr. Yao,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fits you?
that's good.
Okay. And then we'll have, Alan, you and I'll work on the email for information on the setbacks, and I think we'll have our toolbox, as we call it, ready to roll. Any final discussion on this from the commission? Any public comment? All right, let's move to the, I don't want to even say the word easy, the easy one of the night. Case number ZOA-07-26-02, cottage food sales. This is the second workshop. At the July 1st, 2026 joint meeting of the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors, public comment was received requesting that the zoning ordinance permit the sale of qualifying cottage food products from residential properties. The Board of Supervisors directed the Planning Commission to consider amendments to the Madison County Code of Ordinances to establish cottage food sales as a permitted use. And I think you have the updated language up there, Mr. Nichols.
Yes, sir. So on page 34 of your PDF are the two changes that have been proposed as a result of this. The proposal is to add cottage food sales as a by right use in conservation, which would extend to the agricultural district as well. And then to add a definition of cottage food sales, which ties to the Code of Virginia to permit this activity by right, just whatever provisions the Code of Virginia or the General Assembly adopts to regulate this will be updated by default by simply linking this to their code.
Perfect. No, I mean, is there even, is there discussion on this? Are we ready just to say this should have been done a long time ago?
So, yeah, the way that it's written here is it would be by right in conservation and agricultural. It certainly can be in the residential zoning district.
Would that need to be text added as well, or would
Yeah,
it
we'll
be?
just put it, we can put it in whatever district you want. It's a minor change
Okay.
for an activity that's generally,
Yeah.
permitted in the state code.
Because this is in the next public hearing, right?
Yeah, we've got this
Yeah.
one scheduled in a couple weeks here.
Okay. Everyone, are we clear eyes on this one? And
You certainly can propose whatever you
Yeah.
want, sir.
I got a comment, and it's basically the same comment I had last meeting. In section 3.25130, it says there that you can start selling and you got 30 days to get a permit. Now, my concern here is picking and choosing. Now, I had a nonprofit organization selling hot dogs and hamburgers in my establishment, okay? They came in and gave me a cease and desist, and I couldn't do any more until I had everything inspected and approved. So that's not what this is saying here. I'm 100% for this lady, 100%, but I'm not for picking and choosing. And I'm gonna bring up something else that Nathan has harped on a bunch of times. We got a landscaping company out here, they come in here and got zone B1. We got another landscape company over here at Brightwood that's bigger than he is. I guess he's growing mulch because he's a farmer. That's picking and choosing in my mind, and I'm not for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. So on the cottage food sales, with the 1 point Mr. Elliott just raised, any other comments on the specific case before us?
Yeah, why should we not
Yeah.
allow it in all three zoning areas?
Yeah, this is not strictly speaking an agricultural practice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so we want to add the language, Mr. Nichols, I believe, and panel to include all three zoning districts.
Now, you want just R1, or you want 2, 3, and 4 as well?
Right,
say
'cause
all-
Can you allow this in an apartment building?
Oh, yeah. Do we have any?
Everybody,
Yeah.
you would have.
Yeah. Okay, so our.
Street.
Restricted. I'm walking door to door to door to door to door.
You want to start with R1 and see where we end up?
Is that the consensus, guys?
I think that's a
Yeah.
minor change, don't
Okay.
you?
And legal change, Mr. Wright?
I'm only saying minor change so we don't re-advertise.
That'll be up to the board.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, and then- so if public comment does come in, let's just say at the hearing, and they say absolutely not in residential Malvern, I don't want to see kids selling lemonade everywhere down the
Malvern's
road.
agricultural, but they have their own bylaws.
We're so complicated. Okay, all right, kill my hypothetical. All right, so then it looks like we will sign off on this one with the addition of minor change to including R1. Everyone in agreement? Well, C1 comes with A1, so, all right. Any other discussion? Any public discussion on this, public comment? All right. Alan, do you want to, or Mr. Nichols, do you want to talk about the site plan ordinance? It's the only one I think we haven't done in a while.
Sure, so the site plan ordinance change is simply establishing the limit of validity of a site plan of 5 years unless the, oh my goodness, vested rights laws apply. So this is clarifying an otherwise unclear issue that we had a case come before the Board of Zoning Appeals previously, which muddied the waters in decision-making, so this is simply clarifying that. This is not infringing on anybody's vested right, it's just clarifying for administrative purposes. And we're mirroring what the state code suggests. When I email everybody for the framework for discussion for ADUs, I'll I'll send that one in a framework as well, so y'all can have a refresher on that one before we get to a public hearing on it. That's easy.
Was there any question? That one has been on the table for a while, so, or on the shelf for a while, so. All right, I'll let everyone else kind of go through the upcoming public hearing workshops unless you see anything else, Mr. Nichols or Mr. Yell, anything you want to? Okay, and then it does bring us to one, and this is, Pete, to kind of go to one of your points you just made. I'll take some of the blame for that, for dragging my tail as the chairman of the subcommittee on that particular area that's being looked at. And Ms. Gore, I want to be formal on this and not casual. How do I need to structure this to shift
Ordained.
chairmanship or voluntold?
This is a planning committee.
A subcommittee,
Planning commission subcommittee.
chairwoman
Chairwoman.
nomination.
So are you changing members or are you just changing leadership of the subcommittee?
I am firing myself and.
Yes.
And then asking, yes.
Okay, so there's a loss of trust and confidence in Mr. Whitman.
Exactly.
And you're wishing to replace with Mrs. Gore.
Yes, correct.
I think you've got the discretion to do that without a formal
Oh, okay.
vote.
Oh, okay, all right. Do you accept the appointment of chairwoman of the subcommittee? And then, like I said, we've been one of that 6 months now, and yeah. Darrell,
Mr. Chairman, can you pass the notes on that we have already discussed?
I sure will, and I know Mr. Smith has some notes as well that he would like to include in upcoming discussions as well, so I think members stay the same, but then there's some feedback from other folks, so, yes, we'll do that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Would
sir.
you clarify who is now on this subcommittee?
So it'll be Chairwoman Gore, Mr. Cowan, and Mr. Elliott are the current members. Do members want to, is that, okay. Okay. But we can still accept notes from Mr. Smith, correct? I mean,
course.
any input and correspondence from, okay. Open yeah, it's open meeting, so you he can attend without it being a formal meeting as a public, correct?
You
Yes,
can't have a quorum seated at the planning commission.
okay. We'll go over all this as well. Okay. Yeah. All right, okay, so is that, are we, Mr. Wright, are we okay then, formal on that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. In that case, do we,
And before we adjourn, I just wanted to note that Mr. Jackson did not end up joining us during the course of this
Okay.
meeting, just for the sake of the notes.
okay. All right, then that brings us to adjournment. Do we have?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh,
I'd like to
one-
make a general public comment before we adjourn.
Please, oh, sorry, that is,
I'll come to the microphone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been following the planning commission since long before I worked here. Followed you all very closely.
No.
Oh, my apologies. I am Alan Nichols of 421 Orange Road, resident of Madison County since 2016. I have followed your activity since 2019 very closely, and tonight I watched you all engage in spirited debate. You all disagreed with each other. You had cordial discussion, and every single person here participated. This is how this should go. You guys, Betsy, are improving dramatically, and I like the direction you're headed. And as a citizen of Madison, I want to tell you that I appreciate you. Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Nichols.
Here to see it.
It's
They're all
recorded.
online. All online.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols, and kudos to staff as well. I think it's a good marriage between the volunteers here and staff as well, so. Not yet.
Cordial.
The meeting's not over yet. We haven't adjourned. All right, do we have a motion for adjournment? All right, the motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? All right, thanks, everyone.